Have you ever felt someone just slip away from you? Not suddenly, but like a slow fade? Maybe it was a romantic partner, a close friend, or even someone who once showed deep interest. One moment they were present, laughing with you, talking to you, investing in you, and then nothing. Silence, distance, coldness you can't quite explain. You try to tell yourself it's in your head. Maybe they're busy, maybe it's just a phase. But deep down, you know the truth. Something has shifted, and that shift hurts. It's frustrating, confusing, even painful. You feel unseen, unappreciated, and the natural instinct, the one we're all conditioned for, is to chase, to reach out, to ask what happened, to try and fix it. You think, if I can just explain my feelings, if they understand how much they mean to me, maybe they'll come back. But they don't, because that's not how human psychology works. The harder you push, the further they pull away. It's counterintuitive, but true. Love, respect, and attraction don't respond to pressure. They respond to space. Let me tell you something that most people get wrong. People don't come back because you ask them to. They don't come back because you proved you were worthy. They come back when they feel your absence. When they realize your value through your silence, not your pursuit. This isn't manipulation. This is not about playing games. This is about reclaiming your power, about understanding that your worth isn't up for negotiation, that you do not need to perform or beg to be seen. So what do you do instead? You stop chasing. Yes, that's the first and possibly the hardest step, because your emotions will scream at you to do something, to send one more message, to get closure, to reconnect just one last time. But here's the truth. Closure is a lie when it comes from someone else. The only real closure comes from yourself, from making peace with the fact that you cannot force someone to see your value, from choosing to walk away not in weakness, but in incredible strength. This is where the power of absence comes in. When someone pulls away from you, you're faced with a choice. Chase after them and show them that your happiness depends on them, or remove yourself entirely and show them your worth by your absence. And let me be clear, absence is not silence for the sake of manipulation. It's space for transformation. Think about this. When was the last time you truly appreciated something that was always there? The friend who always picked up the phone, the partner who tolerated everything, the opportunity you took for granted. It's only when these things are gone that we realize how much they meant. This is the human condition. We value what we fear losing. We notice what's missing. This is why absence creates value. When you walk away, you interrupt the pattern. You shift from being available to being missed. When you chase, the message you send is, I need you to complete me. My sense of worth depends on your response. Whether they realize it consciously or not, this lowers your value in their eyes. Because nobody is attracted to desperation. Nobody is inspired by neediness. But when you disappear, truly disappear, it changes everything. Suddenly, there is silence where your energy used to be. They start to notice the void. They start to question, where did they go? Why haven't I heard from them? Are they over me? The longer the silence, the louder the questions become in their mind. But most people don't make it that far. They break their own silence after a few days, maybe a week. They send a harmless message, check in subtly, post something online meant to get attention, and with that one action, they destroy the power of their absence. You cannot fake absence. You must live it completely. No reaching out, no checking their social media, no accidental run-ins, no cryptic posts, just gone. Not as a punishment, but as a declaration of self-worth. This is what Stoicism teaches us, that our peace, our joy, our fulfillment, none of these should be placed in the hands of another person. A Stoic does not beg. A Stoic does not plead. A Stoic accepts what is and walks forward with dignity. Walking away is not giving up. It's choosing yourself. And that choice is magnetic. But here's where the fear kicks in. What if they never come back? What if they don't miss me? Let me ask you this. If someone can walk away from you, feel nothing in your absence, and never look back, why would you want them? Why should you need them? Would you really want to chase someone who only values you when you're performing for them? No, because the people who truly care will feel your absence. And even if they don't come back, you still win. Why? Because you will have leveled up. You will have taken all that energy you once gave to someone who didn't see your worth, and you will have poured it back into yourself. And that's the moment you stop chasing anyone and start attracting everything. In the silence you've created, two things begin to happen. One, you regain control of your thoughts, your emotions, your time. You stop obsessing. You stop waiting. You start living again. Two, they begin to feel the weight of your absence. Maybe slowly, maybe suddenly, but it happens. And it shakes them. Because people don't miss what's always there. They miss what's gone. And when you go, when you really go, you don't just disappear from their life. You rise above it. You become someone who no longer needs validation from those who couldn't appreciate your presence. And that's where the real transformation begins. But we're just getting started. Because now that you've stopped chasing and embraced the power of absence, it's time to go even deeper. To become someone so magnetic, so elevated, so unrecognizable in your growth, that when they do come back, you'll be asking yourself, do I even want them anymore? Now that you've taken the first step, the hardest step of stopping the chase and stepping fully into the power of your absence, something begins to shift not just around you but within you. Silence at first feels foreign. It feels like something is missing. That's normal, but stay with it. Don't fill that silence with distraction or empty validation. Because in that space, the space where their presence used to be, you are about to find yourself. Most people, when they go no contact, make a crucial mistake. They disappear, but do nothing with that absence. They sit in it, waiting, hoping that the silence will be enough to bring the other person back. But time alone doesn't heal. Time alone doesn't attract. Time without action is just wasted time. This is the moment where your real power begins. Not in your absence from their life, but in your presence within your own life. This is where the glow-up begins. The physical, the mental, the energetic transformation that makes the people who once overlooked. You do a double take, not just because of how you look, but because of who you've become. Let's start with the surface, the physical glow-up. No, this isn't about becoming a model. It's not about trying to match society's idea of perfection. It's about becoming the most radiant, energized, confident version of you. It's about making a visual statement that says, I'm no longer the person who waited. I'm the person who grew. When someone sees you after time apart and thinks, wow, they look different, happier, healthier, stronger. That's powerful. That's when the seed of regret is planted in their mind. And let's be clear, this isn't just for them, it's for you. When you start working on your body, your health, your style, you're not just changing your appearance, you're changing how you see yourself. You stand taller, you move differently, you carry an aura of I don't chase, I attract. Get active, dress with intention, take care of your skin, hit the gym, change your hair, stand in front of the mirror not to criticize, but to witness your evolution. Because this isn't just a makeover, it's a message. But let's go deeper. The real glow-up is internal. Because beauty fades, but self-mastery radiates forever. This is where your mental transformation begins. While they expect you to be stuck, still thinking about them, you do the unexpected, you rise. You develop, you sharpen your mind. Start reading again. Pick up books that stretch your thinking. Learn about stoicism, resilience, leadership, attraction, business, purpose. Take courses, build skills, expand your mind, get uncomfortable. Because the more you grow, the more you realize something life-changing. You were never chasing them. You were chasing the version of yourself that you thought only existed when you were loved. But now, you're creating that version through discipline, through silence, through showing up for yourself. Ask yourself right now, what would the most powerful version of me be doing with this time? Then go do it. And here's the part no one tells you. When you begin to glow differently, When your energy becomes rooted in peace, self-respect, and purpose, everyone starts to notice. Not just them, everyone. Friends, strangers, people at work. Even people you've never met. Why? Because energy is contagious. You don't have to say a word. People feel when someone has done the inner work. People are drawn to presence, confidence, quiet strength. Suddenly, you're not thinking about how to get someone back. You're thinking about how you ever let them leave you without seeing your worth in the first place. And that's when you realize something even deeper. Maybe it wasn't them you wanted. Maybe it was the feeling of being chosen, of being valued. But guess what? You don't need someone else to choose you to be valuable. You choose yourself. And in doing so, you become the person that others are drawn to without effort. This is the paradox of attraction. When you stop chasing, when you stop needing, when you stop pouring all of your emotional currency into someone who walked away, you become magnetic. You begin to shine in a way that doesn't scream, "Look at me," but instead whispers, "You'll wish you hadn't looked away." And that energy, that glow, doesn't just attract them back, it attracts everything. New opportunities, new connections, new experiences, people who are aligned with this new version of you. Because let's be honest, why would you want the same version of someone who walked away when you've become someone entirely new? This is why you don't wait for them. This is why you don't leave the door cracked open, just in case. Because your life doesn't pause while someone figures out if they see your worth. You live, and if they come back, they're returning to someone who is no longer the same. And that's the most beautiful moment of all. When they reach out, maybe cautiously, maybe confidently, and you realize that you're not even sure if you want them anymore. Because you've seen your own power. You've seen your own growth. You've discovered that everything you thought you needed from them was already within you. And that realization, that's the glow up they never saw coming. So keep going. If you're already feeling this shift, if you can feel the power of becoming someone they might not even recognize anymore, good. That's exactly where you should be. But we're not done yet. Because physical change and personal development are only part of the story. The next level, the one most people never reach, is emotional freedom. By now, you've done what few people are willing to do. You stopped chasing. You embraced the silence. You turned your energy inward and began your transformation. Physically, mentally, emotionally. You started becoming the kind of person who doesn't just attract others, but inspires them. But there's still one critical piece missing. Because while you may appear to be moving on, while your glow-up is undeniable, there's a question that still lingers in your quiet moments. Why do I still think about them? Why do I still care? This is where the real work begins. Because the truth is, you can look strong on the outside. You can stop messaging. You can cut contact. You can improve your body, build your life, and become more visible than ever. But if you're still emotionally tied to them, if a part of you is still waiting for their return, even silently, you are not free. This is why you must master the art of detachment. And no, detachment isn't about pretending not to care. It's not cold-heartedness. It's not pretending you're over them while secretly checking their social media at night or hoping they'll reach out after seeing your story. That's denial, not freedom. True detachment is power. It is clarity. It is peace. It is the ability to say, I loved them, I wanted them, but I no longer need them. So what is detachment really? It's the release of control. It's the understanding that you are not responsible for anyone else's choices, only your response to them. It's choosing to love from a place of freedom, not from a place of fear. It's realizing that someone's absence cannot diminish your value, and their presence cannot complete you. The Stoics said it best. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. That's detachment. But how do you get there? How do you truly let go of someone who once meant so much to you? It starts by facing a hard truth. It's not their absence that hurts. It's your attachment to who they were. You're not holding on to the person as they are now. You're clinging to the version of them that existed when things were good. You're clinging to the idea of what could have been. But that person is no longer here. That future is no longer real. And it's in accepting this reality, not resisting it, that your healing begins. Detachment doesn't mean you stop feeling. It means you stop allowing your feelings to control you. You allow the emotions to pass through you. You cry if you need to. You mourn. You reflect. But you do it with the understanding that this is not the end. It's the rebirth of something greater, you. You don't suppress your feelings. You outgrow them. And in that growth, your attachment begins to dissolve. Not because you force it, but because you no longer feed it. Every time your mind drifts toward them, toward the past, gently pull it back with one question. What do I need right now to become the person I'm meant to be? Not, what are they doing? Not, do they miss me? Not, will they come back? But, how can I pour into myself today? Because every moment you spend wondering about them is a moment you could spend building a future so fulfilling that their absence becomes irrelevant. And here's the paradox. The more detached you become, the more they begin to feel your absence. Because even if you haven't spoken, even if you've done everything, right on the outside, there's an invisible energy that connects people. They can feel it when you're still holding on. They can sense when they still have a space in your heart. And as long as they feel that space open, they don't feel the urgency to fill it. But once you genuinely let go, once they sense that you're not just silent, but truly gone, something changes. Now they feel the distance. Now they feel the loss. Now they start to wonder, did I wait too long? Did I lose them for good? That's when panic sets in. But by that time, something profound has happened inside you. You no longer care in the way you used to. You've stopped watching. You've stopped hoping. You've stopped needing. Not because you're numb, but because you're whole. You have built a life so rich with purpose, passion, peace, and possibility that whether they return or not is no longer the point. And that's the beauty of detachment. It gives you back your life. It allows you to love without possession, to remember without pain, to move forward without resentment. And ironically, that's when they often come back, not because you forced them, not because you tried, but because they can feel the shift. The energy is different. You're no longer there, emotionally orbiting them. You've cut the invisible string, and that silence, that void, it's deafening. But here's the most important truth of all. By the time they come back, you may not want them anymore, because detachment doesn't just free you from them. It gives you the perspective to see them clearly for the first time. And you may realize they were never who you built them up to be. You were the magic all along. You were the peace, the light, the growth, the one who evolved, the one who stayed when they left, the one who kept going. And now you're someone who doesn't need to chase anyone. You don't need closure. You don't need validation. You don't need to be chosen, because you have chosen yourself. And that's what makes you unstoppable. This is what it means to win, not by revenge, not by games, not by hoping they'll miss you, but by becoming someone who no longer needs them to. Now you've mastered the inner game, the glow-up, the detachment. But what happens if they actually reach out? What if they return? What if they say they want to reconnect? The next stage isn't about getting them back. It's about making sure they're worthy of staying.